Hi everyone, Grada here with you, the Miracle FM on Thursday night, and it feels like months since I talked with you last Thursday. So I'm wondering what sort of week you've had, being in lockdown, how that's going for you, and what's been happening, and if of course, I want to know if you've been feeling stressful or not, or if you've been worried about what's going on in the world and so on. So tonight I haven't really prepared myself very well for this session, and I just want to tell some stories of things that happened to me during the week, because it's been a little bit crazy for everyone, or definitely unusual and definitely different. And yesterday I gave one of my daughters a treatment, a beautiful session, just to help her come back into herself a bit, because I felt like every time we talked on the phone, I could feel her brain was incredibly stressed. Like her brain just to me felt like zzz. And maybe your brain is doing a little bit the same as well. Because when we worry and when we're anxious, and we try to think of solutions of what's happening around us, we get stuck in our brain, right? And it's a good reminder tonight that we need to be living our lives from our heart. And we'll do some exercises tonight to help you drop into your heart again, because apparently the longest, most arduous journey in life is the journey from our head to our heart. So we constantly have this habit of shooting back up into our thinking bubble, and that's okay, as long as we know, well, but the real me is actually, in this part below the neck. That's where the real you, your true essence, is found. And the deeper you can bring your attention in your body, the better quality of life you'll have, and the more you can rely on your intuition, and the more you feel safe. Yeah, actually that's the truth. That's what I really want to tell you, because I want you to feel safe while all this crisis is going on around you. I want you to have the ability that you still feel safe. So I was talking to Mika then yesterday and tuning into her body, and then I said to her how it feels to me in my body these last few weeks. To me, I have the same feeling that I always had when my daughters or daughters-in-law were giving birth to one of my grandchildren. And some of my daughters took a long time, like they had long labors, and and I could already tell anyway the week before that their body was going into labor slowly. And I just had this feeling of suspense in my body, like as if God or the universe just wanted me to sit and sit very, very still and not move off the chair, not do anything, and just tune in and be silent and be more and more and more silent, go in deeper and deeper till the baby was born. To me, that felt like a real sacred time, and I have that same feeling now. So I think something big is going to come out when all this is over, and we can only speculate what it is at the moment. I have a good feeling, but I could be wrong. But I do feel as if the universe wants me to pay attention to the things that really matter, pay attention to, I guess, my intuition, my inner wisdom, my higher self consciousness, whatever you like to call it, and not be scattered all over the place with things that are on the surface scary and fearful. Okay, so that's where I've been in myself, and I'm wondering how it's been for you. What's been going on in your life? Have you been feeling pulled in different directions? How you're going with your health and so on? And just put it in the comment box. So yesterday I was doing the dishes, and behind the kitchen sink, and all day long When I came to the sink, I have a white sink, and there was a bee lying there, and I knew the bee was dying, but or he was doing his last gasp, because I guess bees don't really fly around anymore. But I didn't feel like killing it or anything. I just thought I'll leave it in peace and it can do its own little thing. Anyway, so this went on all day. And then at the end of the day, I turned the tap on and suddenly I got stung. I felt this real sharp pain in my finger, and then I realized what was happening. I pulled away and the bee had been on the tap where I hadn't seen it, and it bit me in my finger. And so it was stinging pretty bad. I also believe that everything that happens to me happens for me, right? So I pulled the bee off and it was dying then anyway, so I put it outside, and I noticed it was right on the heart. So this is like the heart meridian, or the heart channels, like the electrical current that flows around our body, that ends here. So by the way, if you're ever having a heart attack and you're in the bush and you're out of reach from the and you want to stop the heart attack from happening, you can literally bite down on these points like this, or somebody else can do it for you on your fingers while you wait for the ambulance. So this is like Chinese medicine that will stop a heart attack in its track. So there's some very powerful heart points at the end of your finger. So yeah, my finger has been a bit itching every time I rub it. The universe reminds me that I have to be in my heart. So get back into your heart. That's what it's been telling me. And then something else happened as well. Last week, one of my beautiful cats went missing. She was only 3 years old, and I adopted her from Facebook. And she was given to me like as a special breed, because she had a very short tail and long hair, and I was told she was a special breed. But she was given to me because the person didn't want her, and I still had to get her like what is it called, sterilized or whatever, and do all the rest. So it was a bit of an illegal transaction. And Stampy, we called her Stampy because she wasn't really a special breed. Her tail had been chopped off, I think, when she was a little baby. Yeah, which is ironical because my tail end is floating around by itself as well, my coccyx from the truck accident. I always, when you look at your animals, your pets, and the plants in your garden, they always tell you something about you or your cohabitants. Like our dog Freddy is a Labradoodle, and he's only 3 as well, a black one, and he's going quite grey actually. And that reminds me of Peter, because Pete started to go grey when he was 13. So just look around you, and your pets are always telling you something about you, because they're taking on your energy and they're literally becoming you. So Stampy was happy at the start of last week, and then on Wednesday, I think it was, she was lying out in the sun, and Peter was waiting for me, so I didn't stop. But as I walked past Stampy, I intuitively knew she wasn't well, but she looked completely fine now. She looked as if she was sunbaking, but I had a hunch she was going to die, and I haven't seen her since. And then I called in on my brother to drop something off to him, and he said to me, and this was on Sunday, he said to me, he was looking at the clouds, and he saw my cat. He saw a cat floating past, and he knew straight away that's one of Grada's cats. And it was like a cat without a tail, and it had like an umbilical cord to the heavens. So that's my brother Pete, who's very, very intuitive, and he's been doing lots of inner work, and he meditates a lot, and he's very much in tune with nature. So I said, oh, thank you, Stampy, for letting me know that you've passed on, and I feel she's in a good place now. So when we die, by the way, we just step out of our skin and we experience total freedom again. That's what I believe anyway. So I'm happy for Stampy, but I'm sad for me, because this is another ending for me. And it's like the purple house has ended. That was my baby for 20 years. It's finished now. It's finished as it was. So there's lots of changes, not just globally. Everyone, by the way, is going through uncomfortable times. And I'm also thinking that our pets sometimes take on a big chunk of our pain, right? Because we're running around, we have to function, we can't simply sit with our pain a lot of the time, but it's still there, right? And so our pets will take on a big chunk of that energy, and sometimes that makes them, it's too much, or they take it on, and as a gift they die, they take it with them. Yeah, Sarah Ann's dog died a few weeks ago as well, fairly unexpectedly. But I think he was 11, so he was probably getting older. But Sarah Ann told me an interesting story. Sarah Ann is used to be one of our practitioners. She works at Leaf and River Traders still. And we worked together side by side for nearly 10 years. So I miss her as well, because the Purple House is, not a unit anymore. Anyway, so Sarah, she has 2 dogs, and her young puppy was digging holes all the time. And then her other dog, I think it was a greyhound, 11-year-old, he was lying in the holes all the time. And Sarah then remembered, she'd heard the story that when dogs do that, they dig a hole and lie in it. Sometimes that means they're going to die. And he also died rather unexpectedly, so that was traumatic too. And it could also be that he took on some of, the global pain that we're all experiencing. By the way, the good thing about pain and uncomfortableness is that it makes us grow, because apparently we only grow when we're uncomfortable, and when we're just cruising along happy in our comfort zone, which is, by the way, a beautiful way to live your life. But apparently we don't grow as much as we do when we're uncomfortable. So I feel this is like a massive up-leveling that's happening for humanity. It's way bigger than we think it is. And I also think it's, way more spiritual than we can even, a spiritual shift than most people realize, because we are being distracted by the coronavirus. Okay, so and that's what I wanted to share with you. So let's do a little practice. This is a very simple one. I hope you can see it. I'm just going to bend this thing forward a bit. So here is our heart meridian. So these are heart points. This is also to do with our emotional heart, by the way. Okay, so one way to release a lot of tension in our body, or to stop ourselves from worrying, is to do this movement. Okay, but normally I would put my hands in my lap. So, but I'm showing you guys how to do it properly. So start here, and the meridian still flows there, and just think about something stressful and rub it out. Okay, you can even flick it away. But if you want to do this without people noticing, so for instance, you're in a staff meeting or a business meeting, or you're sitting with your relatives, and you're feeling stressed, and you want to get rid of the stresses, you just put your hands in your lap, and this looks like a very natural action. Like, it doesn't look weird. So just do this for a minute. It doesn't matter which hand. We'll do the other hand, so you can also do this one. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to think about something stressful, something that has a little bit of charge behind it. Okay, you can think, what if I get the virus? Will I get sick and die? Something yucky like that. Okay, or think about all your unpaid bills. Right, and just do this action here and flick it out. Okay, And what it's doing, it's actually removing the tension from your brain before it actually becomes your brain. And you are massaging your heart, you could say. So see, here's the little where I got stung by the bee, and that's what made me think of this. This is a practice that you can do anywhere. So it's really the little finger, but you can go like that, that's easier. So I'm just going to close my eyes, tune into my body, think about something stressful, think about maybe you don't want to be cooped up all the time in the house, or okay, think of a sort of a medium stress, and you just go like that. Okay, I really need somebody to film it, because actually you can just do this with your hands on your lap, but I'm showing you like that. So your tension should drop very, very quickly when you do that, and nobody needs to know what you're doing, and it stops you forming another layer around the onion. Remember how we're an onion with many layers, but actually the key is that you can drop into your heart very, very quickly and live from the center of the onion, not from the outer peels, right? Okay, so let's think of another way to drop into your heart. It's very, very easy. I've shown you this many times before. So put your hands together like that. Actually, then you go like that, if you can. And so like that, and then rest them on the center of your chest. So lean back into your chair. And now give yourself a minute's silence. And see if you can drop really deeply into your own heart, or take your attention into your energy, your focus into your heart. So first of all, feel your hands on your chest, and then drop down a bit and further back into the back of your heart, where it's very, very still and quiet always. It's like a sacred spot. So we can do that for a minute, we can do that together. So just enjoy that feeling of beautiful stillness. Feel your shoulders soften. Just keep dumping your thoughts into your heart. Dropping your brain into your heart. Now you can do this for as long as you like, because the longer you do it, the more you benefit, and the more you help the universe with your light. Because of course your heart is the center of unconditional love, and it's where you are connected. From your heart you're connected to every particle of the entire universe, and all the secrets of the universe are also in your heart. So being a light worker or a light being, that's really your true nature. Whether you realize that or not, it doesn't matter, because you are that, so you can't change that anyway. And as you start to drop into your heart more, you become more, connected to everything and everyone around you, and beautiful messages start to flow into your lap, like you become connected to nature. Like my brother, he had a message for me. I happened to see him at the right moment. Everything has meaning, and life becomes more fulfilling and interesting, right? Because nature or the universe starts to talk to you, and you start to respond from your heart, which is a beautiful place to live your life from. And your life matters, and what you do every day, how you live your life, does matter to the universe, and it does have a huge impact. Even if you think of darkness, for instance, if you go into an underground cave that's really, really dark, like pitch black. So even if you're worried about the darkness that you see in the world or that you perceive, if you think of that, you only need one little candle, like one little flame, and it lights up the entire cave already. So that's how powerful you are. That's how powerful your light is. And every time you drop into your heart, you experience that, and you remember the truth of that, the truth of this message that I'm telling you. And life becomes very fulfilling for you when you start to tune into your own peacefulness and into your own power. It's like you're claiming your power back. And that's a beautiful journey. So that's the journey from the head into the heart. I think most women have a little bit of a head start. That's a weird word now that I'm thinking of it. Because women have their maternal instinct, and that's given to us to look after our children. So we often know long before something happens to our kids, we already know what's going on. And that's our instinct to keep our family happy and together. But women, over the years, we've looked too much at other kind of masters and gurus. We have this tendency to give our power away, when actually after many years I realized, hey, I've already got all that inside me, because I used to be a workshop junkie and travel around and seek out masters and gurus and teachers and so on. And then I realized, actually, these guys have had an epiphany about something that I already do naturally, and they've just packaged it up and turned it into a workshop, a course, like a system rather, that can be reproduced, which is, by the way, where guys are brilliant. They can reproduce and turn something into a system so that they can teach other people. But remember, as a girl or as a woman, you're already doing those things instinctively and naturally. So claim that back and claim your own power and be confident in your own abilities. That's what I want for you. So, okay, keep dropping into your heart. You don't need to be stung by a bee for you to remember that you have a beautiful heart to drop into. Love your loved ones. And also remember that you're looked after by your invisible family, like by your ancestors, by your pets who've died, and they're still surrounding you, looking after you now as well. So, hope you enjoyed this session, and stay safe and let me know what's going on for you. And then hopefully I'll see you again next Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Thank you and big love to you all. Bye.